Right, shalom, shalom. Brother Osman once again for another lesson. First and foremost, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakadash. It is all praises to Heavenly Father in His Son's name, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is Yahawashi. Also want to say shalom to all the sincere-hearted Akim Wa'ath that's making bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis. I also want to give double honors to my elders who taught me this truth. So today we're going to go into, these current events that's going on. Particularly, this the approval of the FDA, approving the Pfizer dragon juice, man. And that's we've been telling you, but now a lot of our people about to start feeling, the brunt force, of this man's system, that they so closely, and trust in, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to, is trust. Who you serve. Because Yahawashi says, let me grab this real quick. Grab this. Close out of all this. This is the book of Matthew 6:24. Right? And he says, no man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Yahawah and Mammon. Right? And so at the end of the day, this whole thing, with this beast system, America and its allies, particularly the NATO and the EU, right? All this man wants is worship. The MOTB, it's like we said earlier, it's much bigger than buying and selling. You adopting this man's way of life is you bound the knee to him, right? And by default, you're despising Yahawah Bashim, right? This whole thing is centered around worship. You worship the creation more than the creator, or is it the other way around, right? But now we're starting to see, how everything is playing forth. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel 12. But before I get that, let me get this in Proverbs. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, and verse 18. He says, but the path of the just, right? And what's the path of the just? This doctrine of life. This is the path that the justified will be taken, right? The ones that hold the testimony of Yahawah Yahawashi. That's that true path, right? Yahawashi, he says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He's that path. So that's the path of the just. And he says the path of the just is as the shining light, right? He says that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. And that perfect day is when all things will be revealed, when Yahawashi basically uproots this evil, out of this world. Chiefly being the so-called white man, the one who is enshrouded the planet Earth in lies and deceptions and deceit, right? But the path of the just is as a shining light, and is shining more and more unto the perfect day. So this doctrine, these prophecies that the Lord has been, that He's handed down unto His men, right, is shining more and more. We can see clearly every single day, right, that this doctrine has been the correct doctrine. Right? What we hold fast to, what the Lord has given us, is the correct message, man. Because you see it. There's a time to where you would tell some of our people, a certain prophecy or whatnot, and they'll hold it in the back of their mind with skepticism. Because the vision was for a long period of time. Starting with the apostles at the at GMS. Right? They've been telling you that the MOTB was a microchip, right? But back in the day, that seemed like a crazy idea, But now you have to actually entertain it, man. Prophecy is up close and personal, right in front of everybody's face. You can no longer say, well, I don't know, if that's the case. I don't know if the grain of rice is going to be an MOTB. Man, it's right there, and it's starting, being basically under this veil of the vaccine, of the dragon juice. See that? So let's grab this in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12. And it says, verse 27, he says, I'm going to start at verse 25. For I'm Yahawah, I will speak. Right? And how does the Lord speak? Through the mouth of His prophets. And He's speaking loud and clear, man. Right? Brothers all over, all different hours through the day. From 12 o'clock in the afternoon all the way down to 5 o'clock in the morning. The Lord is speaking through these different men. Why? Because He set watchmen up over the nation of Israel to guide us, man. Right? Because we've been so long without true guidance. Right? But now the Lord, in his infinite mercy upon the nation of Israel, particularly the elect, has given us, you know, his speech once again. He's given us this path that we can walk upon if you take heed. Right? So he says, I'm Yahawah, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged. All right, and we see that. All right, Biden is, as soon as the Pfizer, you know, dragon juice was mandated, or I wouldn't say mandated, well, it is mandated now. Right, he just said that. I'm gonna play a little video clip on my phone here for you. You know, basically they're making all the New York, you know, school system employees, you know, get that thing now, right? But but basically, as soon as the Pfizer, you know, what the FDA approved of it, right now you got Biden behind the podium, you know, giving his urgent commandment, just like Nebuchadnezzar did, right? Well, why is that? Because the Lord is speaking and is no longer being prolonged, right? The vision was tarrying, but now it's not tarrying anymore, like Habakkuk chapter 2 said, right? He says, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, see that? For in your days. This was a prophecy, man. This was a prophecy. So in our days, we are that generation, right, that's going to be alive to see all these calamities take place. We're that generation that's going to live, you know, if you're part of the elect, that's going to live through Jacob's trouble. All right? And he says, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith Yahawah power. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision, and the vision of vision is basically translated into prophecy. It says the vision or the prophecy that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off. Right, and that's what most of our people say, you know, especially the old heads in our family, you know, like my mother, for instance, she said, oh, well, they've been saying that, you know, they've been saying that, you know, Jesus is going to come back. They've been saying that, you know, all these wars and rumors of wars are, you know, taking place. Hurricanes and earthquakes been here since I've been here, son, you know, right? But we're living in those days to where the intensity and the frequency of those birth pains cannot be ignored anymore. Right? This is why you have a mass influx of our people starting to come into the truth, and you also have a mass of them leaving the truth. Why? Because these are parallels to let you know that YAHAWASHI is about to come, man. Right? So he says, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesied of the times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, thus saith Yahawah power. And that's all we speak is thus saith the Lord. Right? We don't speak out of our own mouths, you know, filling our own bellies. No, we're giving you a plain thus saith the Lord out of these holy scriptures. He says, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore. So the Lord was telling us none of his words are going to be prolonged anymore. Right? When he tells you something's going to happen, it's going to come quickly, man. Why? Because he's going to come like a thief in the night. And a lot of our people have been using this grace period in the fashion that it was meant for. This grace period that the Lord has given us, it wasn't a period for you to, you know that you're Israelite and still continue to sin. No, it's to come to the realization that you're an Israelite, and now you need to come back to the covenant, man. Right? Because when YAHAWASHI comes, it ain't no more talking, man. Right? You're not going to see the prophets anymore. And pretty soon, Esau about to have this whole thing shut down, man. Right? And quite honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Right? Because a lot of our people are not using this, you know, this grace period in the way that is meant for. You know, but the elect, once again, the elect is going to obtain this, and the rest are going to be blinded. It says, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith Yahawah power. Right? So these words shall be done, and they will be done, and they are being done right here in front of your face. Now I'm going to play this clip real quick. See, look at this. Man, more and more updates are coming, you know, every single, you know, second, man, it seems like. Every minute I get another pop-up on my phone, right? It says, this one says, Pfizer jab receives full approval from FDA. Pentagon mandates jabs for all troops. So now the troops are getting mandated, right? And you know a lot of these good old American boys that's fighting in the army, They're not gonna get down for this shit, man. So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna leave. Some of them don't give a damn if they get thrown into jail because of that. So what is that gonna implement? The U.S. bringing these UN troops over here, man, who don't give a damn about no Americans, man, who don't speak no English, all right? You're gonna have some Russians over here. You're gonna have, you know, even though they're not part of the UN, but you're still gonna have, you know, people of all different armies coming over here, you know, basically just to do the bidding, because all these nations bow down to the beast, man, you know? And these people have no problem laying your ass down to the ground. And these are times we're living in. So let me pull up this video.
More companies, I should. Today I'm calling on.
Hold on. So the title of this, and this is Brother Bakar Ahmath 144, all right, from GMS Camp. He had put it up, you know, and the title is Biden calls on U.S. companies to mandate the jab for employees following the FDA decision. And that's the whole reason why this thing was, you know, FDA approved. It wasn't because the FDA just finally, you know, came to grips and said, okay, this is a healthy option. No, because under their laws, in order for them to mandate something legally, you know, it has to be, you know, FDA backed up, right? So they don't seem like a hypocrite, right? Even though that they are, right? Because hell, the FDA approves a certain amount of rat poop in some of your food. They approve a certain amount of bugs in your food. You know, and this isn't a hidden, you know, mystery anymore. Anybody can get on their phone and see the particular ingredients that's inside of your food. You know, things that the FDA approved of. You got pork in every single, you know, thing, all the way down to your toothpaste, man. You got pork lard and pork fat in it. Why do you need pork fat in toothpaste, man? This man wants to constantly keep Jake in an unclean state. But it's nothing new, because when the Greeks came into power, they polluted our sanctuary and knew as long as that we were polluted, right? We were partaking into their swine and things offered unto idols, our power wouldn't deal with us, man, right? But see, this is the beautiful thing of having YAHAWASHI's blood poured over the elect, because now we can still worship him in an unclean state, like Elder Yashawamba in the GMS Dallas camp states all the time, man. See, so this devil cannot win over the elect, man. Right? No matter how hard he tries, the Lord already got us covered. Lord willing, we're a part of that number that's covered under the blood. But everybody else, you're numbered to the sword, man. All right? So this whole thing is based down upon the Lord having mercy and grace upon a particular people, man. Right? Because if it wasn't for that, we all finished, man. This truth is the only way out. So I'm gonna play this.
More companies, I should. Today I'm calling on more companies, I should say, in the private sector to step up with vaccine requirements that'll reach millions more people. If you're a business leader, a nonprofit leader, a state or local leader who has been waiting for full FDA approval to require vaccinations, I call on you now to do that. Require it. Do what I did last month. Require your employees to get vaccinated or face strict requirements. Today I'm calling on more companies, I should say, in the private sector.
Now I want y'all to pay attention to how he said at first, right? I'm calling on more countries, and then he quickly retracted and said more companies. Now, let me grab this real quick, because every single word that comes out of a person's mouth was ordained from Yahawah YAHAWASHI, man. Right? And this man knew it. This man knows that that wasn't a mistake that he said. When he said, I'm now calling on more countries, I mean more companies, all right? No, according to the scriptures, all these countries are going to basically, you know, get down with this program. This is Proverbs 21. No, not Proverbs 21. I want Proverbs 16. Proverbs 16 and verse 1, he says, the preparations of the heart, meaning the mind in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord, right? So the answer that you give, everything that comes from your mouth was orchestrated from the heavens, man. Came from the Lord. So when this man says, now since this thing is approved, I'm calling on more countries, I mean more companies, no, he meant that. The Spirit of the Lord was revealing, right, what's actually going down. But once again, if you're spiritual, you're going to discern this, right? So not only are these companies going to start mandating more, now you're going to see all these other countries get on board and start mandating their people. Why? So the whole world, according to Revelation chapter 13, will give homage and honor and worship this beast system, man. Right? So let me finish playing this out.
Requirements that'll reach millions more people. If you're a business leader, a nonprofit leader, a state or local leader who has been waiting for full FDA approval to require vaccinations, I call on you now to do that. Require it. Do what I did last month. Require your employees to get vaccinated or face strict requirements.
So not only the businesses, right? Not only are you going to have, if you're one of those people who's not going to bow the knee to this man, right? Not only are you going to lose your job, but even the nonprofit leaders, man. And who does that extend to? These churches, you know, even some of these Israelite camps. That's 501c3 based, such as IUIC, ISUPK, right? As far as we know. So what does that go to show you? You know, if you're 501c3, you're nonprofit based. I'm going to show you that what? You're going to be pushing the jab up on whoever, you know, your congregation, right? But it's nothing new, man, right? The scriptures already let us know. So let's go over here to the book of Daniel chapter 3, because this man he's ready to show his horns, right? Before I get that, let me get this in Revelation 13, because you need to know the nature of your enemy. This is Revelation 13 and 11. He says, and I beheld another beast, and this beast right here is speaking about Babylon the Great, also known as America. He says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns, right? Meaning two powers, or horns in Bible prophecy represents power, right? You got the two main you know, powers within this beast system, Democrat and Republic, right? So he had said he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And right now, the America is in a transition phase from they're no longer speaking like a lamb. They're no longer being kind and gentle with people, you know, offering or suggesting that you should get the vaccine. Now they're about to start speaking. Well, now they are speaking like that dragon, and their horns are showing more and more every single day, right? And how does this dragon speak? Through his laws, through the mandates, draconian measures. When you go into that word draconian, right, that word draconian goes to the word dragon, Draco, right? So this is the times we live in. This is the book of Daniel chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse let's see this is Daniel 3 verse yep, let's see, hold on, Salaki, give me 1 second. King's commandment, urgent, yep. This is Daniel 3 and 22, and it says, yep, therefore, because the king's commandment, right, and this king was going into the king of Babylon, right? It says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, right? And that's what this, let's go into that word urgent real quick, right? Because when you hear, you know, mandates and all that stuff, this came from an urgent decree, even though that they already had this thing situated and prepared a long time ago, right? This is an urgent decree, right? Because at first they were saying that the FDA Pfizer approval would have been about 2 weeks from now, right? But they said, but it also could be on Monday, as early as Monday. But as soon as you woke up today, guess what? You had it popped up on your phone, man. It's approved for now, all right? Because it's an urgent commandment. Because the devil knows that he has a short time, according to Revelation chapter 12 and 12. All right, so let's grab this. Urgent. Ooh. It says hasty, severe, all right, harsh, show insolence. Let me go into this word insolence real quick. I'm curious to see that. Insolence. Latin insolentia, unusualness, strangeness. These are strange laws, man. These are strange laws. And what was that in First Maccabees? He says, I got this ant bed on me. First Maccabees, going to show you that this is the same devil that we've been dealing with, man. All right. During the time of the Greeks, this is First Maccabees 1:41. It says, for the king has sent letters by messengers, right, unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So this man is making urgent decrees, right, for his strange laws to be set up, right? And part of these strange laws is what? Mandating the damn jab. That's strange. The world has never seen that before. No other empire or time in Earth's history has it ever been mandated that you have to get a vaccine, right? So this is something strange. Well, the Lord said that in the last days there's going to be strange happenings. He's going to work a strange work in the midst of the land. All right. So let's go back to Daniel 2 and verse 40. Daniel 3 and verse 22. He says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, also translated to strange, and the furnace exceeding hot, because he has a Biden, you know, and not just Biden, but the elites. They have a furnace prepared for the men, for the few men, right, and women, because early in the chapter it says certain Jews refuse to bow down to the image, right? These people have a furnace of affliction waiting for us, man, right? And that furnace of affliction comes in many different forms, right? It may be guillotines. It may, of course, it's going to be FEMA camps, all different types of torturing mechanisms. You know, and I had a dream, man. You know, it must have been probably about a year ago now, and I'll go ahead and share with you all. Basically, it was this large space, like it was a cleared out Walmart or whatnot, and at the very back of the store, it had a door, and you know those little those doors to where they got like that little rectangle to where you can see out that glass. Well, I saw through it, and there was two tables lined. No, it was three tables. One table was going long ways like this. The other one was faced like this, and the other one was going long ways like that. And so on this side, it had for the people who refused the MOTB, and on the other side had the people who was down with it. And the people who refused, they took them down into this underground basement, and that basement had all different types of torture mechanisms. They had chains to hang people. They had this big, huge ass meat grinder to where they was grinding motherfuckers. They had a conveyor belt to where they were just doing all different types of shit to people, man. Right? So once again, this man and this system is putting out urgent decrees to basically, you know, anybody who refused to bow down to him, your ass is gonna get thrown in the furnace, man. And we understand that there's gonna be certain martyrs set up, you know, for this truth. Some men and women just gonna have to die for it, man. But so be it. Because guess what? Like the book of Philippians said, it's not only for you to believe on Hamashiach, but also to suffer for his name's sake, man. Right? And we're gonna the martyrs, we're gonna have a crown and we're gonna have a fame in the kingdom, man. You know? And then we're gonna be able to put hell back on the very same people who tortured and chastised us, man. Right? So let's go back to Daniel 2:3 and 22. He says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire, right? The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? And the elect, we represent Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? The three men, you know, who refused, you know, to bow down the knee to this image, to this man's image. And when you go into that word image in Revelation chapter 13, I want to say either verse 15 or 16, right? Talking about the image of the beast. It's iconos, I believe, iconos, and basically that means a reflection. So if you refuse to bow down to what America reflects, right, which is really the Roman Empire and everything that they stood for, you know, basically anti-Messiah, you know, Yahawah, and everything that he stands for, hey, you're gonna be put to death, man. You know, but once again, we know that the Lord is gonna have mercy upon a certain amount of people to where you won't, to where we're gonna be able to escape that death, right? But right now, you know, touching back up on the lesson that I did, you know, a couple of days ago about these enchantments going out, this man is throwing out those enchantments more and more and more every single day to continue to hypnotize the minds of people, the minds of the people, right? And I want to go into this word enchantment real quick. Because you got to know what's going on as far as enchantments are involved, what they are. This is enchantment. It says circa 1300, act of magic or witchcraft. All right, it says to allure, right? Allurement, and we know allurement is basically synonymous with baiting you in, and this is why how they've been baiting Jake in to bow down to this man's image. You know, through your music, through the foods, right? Through nigger culture, which is death culture. You know, what else? They offer you some money, you know, to take the jab, you know, to take the vaccine, right? These are all allurements, enchantments, man, right? This is what a snake does, right? And it also says to sing, to sing. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. When you read Daniel chapter 3, what did Nebuchadnezzar what did he set up in his kingdom to basically hypnotize the minds of the people to bow down to his image? Through the music, man. Through the music. Right now, we know Babylon isn't, of course, their actual music, the actual music industry plays a part in it, right? But this great whore, you know, Babylon is constantly singing, man, in many different ways. Just the lifestyle itself that it proposes out to people, that's a form of singing. That's a form of allurement. All right, let me grab this in Daniel 3. Daniel 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 2, and it says, I'm gonna start at verse 1. He says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, right? And we see this image resurrected back today, man. And it says, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And when we were just listening to that video on YouTube with Biden, right? He says now I'm basically, you know, promoting this to all the employers, the governors, the mayors, and all the rulers to basically mandate this thing. So here we see it, right here in 2021, right? What the vision that the Lord told us about is hastening, man, and it is coming to pass, right? So he says, verse 3, then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. It says, then an herald cried, right? And who's Babylon the Great's herald, right? The media. The media is the one, because a heralder just simply means a messenger, right? And how does Babylon get his message across? Through the news platforms, through the media, right? And through the puppets that they set up. And Babylon's heralders are crying out right now to basically entice, to allure, to sing unto people, to, hey, come over here, it's not going to hurt you, right? Take this jab, take the MOTB, it's not going to hurt you. It's going to preserve your life if you pay homage to our God, right? If you pay homage to our God, he's going to continue to feed you, give you benefits in his life, right? But it's death culture, man. You're making a covenant with death if you go into this if you go into this whore, man. And we're going to touch into that in the book of Proverbs chapter 5 and Sirach chapter 9 and Proverbs 6, right? Because this whore is constantly singing unto you, man. But if you incline into her paths, she's going to lead you to death. You have to abstain from her paths, man. And how do you abstain from her paths? You simply, because there's only two ways. You get on this path, or you go on the path that YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI has set out for you, man. So it says, then a heralder cried aloud to you, it is commanded. See that? Commanded, meaning, when you go into the root word commanded, what do you hear? Mand, which means mandate. So to you, it is mandated, O people, nations, and languages, so everybody on the earth. This is why he has slipped up in his tongue through the Spirit and said, now I'm advising all countries, I mean all companies, right? Because he's getting all nations and people on board, man. Why? To set up the new world order, the one world order, right? This one world order says it all, man. All these countries are gonna, basically their plan is to make all these countries come into one mind and give their power unto the beast, man. Give their power unto Babylon. But it's not gonna happen, man. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Psalms real quick. The Lord's gonna confuse their plans at the very end of things. Right when this man thinks that he's got his belly full, the Lord's gonna make him throw everything up, like the book of Job, chapter 20 states. Right? So this is Psalm chapter 2, verse 1. He says, why do the heathen rage? Right? And when you go into that word rage, it means to be in an uproar, to be disquieted, to be loud, clamorous, right? And that's what these heathens is doing right now, man. You know, if you was looking at my camp video, you know, the day before yesterday, right, you had a lot of Afghans having a protest right out here in downtown Dallas. They were raging, man. Why? Because they're being oppressed. Now, of course, they're not being oppressed on the level that the so-called black Hispanic Native Americans are, right? But everybody, under this man's system, everybody's fucking losing, man. Right? But when we're put back in our rightful positions, everybody, you know, even though they're gonna be in captivity and slavery under us, they still gonna be happy, man. Because at least they don't have to breathe in chemtrails, eat fake foods, you know, worship a God that doesn't profit you. They're gonna know the truth, man. Truth is gonna be brought out to light every single day. Isaiah chapter 2 tells you that. We're gonna be pushing the truth from Mount Zion, the law, every day, man. That's the whole point of us being priests under the order of Melchizedek, to put this earth back in its proper order and make everybody know the proper knowledge of the Most High, man. But through this man's system, nobody knows anything, man. All you know is wickedness and lies and deceit. This is why you're still in Christianity and still in all these other fake-ass religions, man, under this man's system. So it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right? Everybody's imagining a vain thing. Prime example, if I take this jab, everything's gonna go back to normal. If we all get on one accord and we just do what this man says, everything's gonna go back to normal. That's a vain thing that you're imagining. And the Lord says that why did he flood the world the first time? Because every man's, let me grab this in the book of Genesis. I want to say Genesis 6. It all stems from what you imagine. Yep. Genesis 6 and 5. And Yahawah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every what? Imagination of the thoughts of his mind or heart was only evil continually. That's why he destroyed the earth in the first place. Because everybody's imaginations were just evil continually, man. They was imagining vain things. All right, so once again, David was prophesying, man, down to this time that we're living in. Why do the heathen rage and people imagine a vain thing? And when you imagine vain things, now you're provoking YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI to just come slaughter your ass, man. And that's what he's about to do. Why? Because people don't think right, man. People's mindset is off. Right? When you read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1, it says, for froward thoughts separate from the Most High, man. Verse 2, Psalms 2 and 2, the kings of the earth. And who's the kings of the earth? Starting with the elites, man, and all the way down. It says the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. Right? You got all different types of councils going on, man. I was looking today, as a matter of fact, doing a little research about the councils of the elites, and they have, man, let me see if I can, it's on my laptop, but they have a lot of different councils, man. You know, you can't even they got the council of 3, they got the council of 5, they got the council of 13, they got the council of 33, they got the council of man, it was a couple more, and I was just like for the top tier elites. And then you got your city councils, your state councils, you got your district councils, you got the man, all, you know, you can't even keep up. Because this man thinks through his councils, he's going to uphold himself. But no, there's only one council that's going to prevail, man. That's the councils of YAHAWAH by YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, which is these prophecies, man. Right? He says the heathens of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahawah and against his anointed. And who's the Lord's anointed, man? The elect. So they're trying to take counsel against Yahawah and his elect, man. That's why at the end of the day, right, we're the ones that he's really targeting. Esau is really trying to target the elect woman. They're really trying to target the bride of Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, man. But he's gonna have us covered. We're already covered, man. Right? But he says, verse 3, let us, and this is what the wicked are saying, let us break their bands asunder. Basically, let us break their power. He says, and cast away their cord from us. Verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens, Yahawah, shall laugh. Yahawah shall have, well, the Lord shall have them in derision. So the Lord is looking back at this man's counsel, and he's just sitting back laughing, man. Right? I see you having all these counsels trying to, you know, confuse my people, trying to take counsel against them. But he's laughing at them, man. Why? Because he sees that their day is coming, man. Right? I'm just letting you wait until you get at your pinnacle. Then I'm gonna come down and it's just kind of like it's just kind of like a kid building up this immaculate sand castle on the beach. Sand castle on the beach. Right? You're just gonna wait until he gets it all pretty and he just forms it and just, you know, make sure there's not one grain of sand out of place. And then you just sitting back. All right, as soon as that little nigga leave, I'm gonna come over there and kick it over. Well, that's what the Lord's about to do to Esau Edom, man. Right? But he's gotta let Esau Edom have his little time, you know, of fulfilling his little birthright that he got. Right? But then after him, it's gonna be us forever, man. Go back. Let me go back to Daniel 3. Daniel 3 and verse 4, it says, then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. See that? So going to show you that they allured you, meaning they enchanted the people through music, through songs, through singing. Same thing that they're doing today, you know, in the form of this media, man. They're singing unto you. Every time that fucking news anchor gets behind the counter, they're singing unto you, right? And then, of course, you got these actual singers like Beyonce, her wicked ass, Cardi B, and Meg Thee Stallion. They're singing unto you, right? Further leading you into damn nigga culture, man. All right? Why? Because at the end of the day, when you cleave unto that, because that's not the culture that the Lord gave us, for you to be a nigga. Right? The Lord gave us a culture to form you, right, into being an aristocrat, man. Being a king, being a ruler. See, over here in this truth, we have a different type of taste, man. Our mindset is in a different way. We don't think like these niggas think, man. We don't speak like they speak. We don't dress like they dress. We may look like them, right? But our spirits is not the same, man. Our spirits is not the same. And the Lord is making a clear distinction, right, between those who serve him and those who don't serve him, man. Right? Those who stay or rely or trust on Esau Edom and those who don't. Because we know that those who don't, according to Isaiah chapter 10, right, they have escaped. Right? They have escaped this man's system. Right? Which will be the elect. So let me go back to, where's that? Let me go over here to, the book of Sirach 9. Alright? Because we understand that this place, well, let me just grab that. We understand that America is known as that great whore. Alright? And the Bible teaches us how to deal with whores, man. How to deal with adulteries. How to deal with adulterers. Alright? People commit fornication, and that's what this place perpetuates. Fornication against your power, right? You serving other gods, you serving this man, and also actual physical fornication as well. But this Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1, he says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And we know that that great whore, right, is synonymous with Babylon the Great, America. right? And those many waters is speaking about the nations of people that it sits upon, right? The NATO and the EU. Verse 5, and it says, and upon her foreheads was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, right? The mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Now, let's go over here to Sirach chapter 9, verse 2. He says, give not thy soul unto a woman. All right, and a lot of our people have given their soul unto this woman, Babylon the Great. He says, to set her foot upon thy substance. And what's our substance, man? This inheritance, the kingdom, right? The blessings that YAHAWASHI, salvation. That's our substance. That's our inheritance. The scripture is saying, don't give your soul over. Don't give your body, don't give your life over unto a woman that's going to basically have full control of your inheritance, right? And for 2/3 of our people, right, they basically allowed this great whore to have her foot, you know, and have her way over your inheritance, man. But it's going to be 1/3 that's going to keep that inheritance. That's going to keep what the Lord has given us, man. Starting with this truth. Verse 3 says, meet not with the harlot, right, lest thou fall into her snares. And who's the harlot, man? Well, we just got it. Revelation chapter 17, verse 5. The mother of all harlotries, the mother of all whores, right? Because this place is nothing but a trap and a snare, man. America's death culture, right? This is the book of Ecclesiastes 7, all right? Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death, right? And what is when you go into the etymology of the word America, it goes into, I believe, amar in the Hebrew, which simply means bitter, right? Amar means bitter, and that's the root word of America, right? So he says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, right? So everything that America thinks of, right, and it pushes upon the people is nothing but a snare and a net and a trap unto you, man, right? Such as this damn dragon juice that they're trying to pump in your arm, right? All the way going down to the mark of the beast, MOTB. That's a snare and a trap unto your spirit, man. That's you allowing this place to have full control of your substance, man. Americans are going to rob you dry of your inheritance that the Lord is trying to give you. And it says, and I found more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. It says, whoso pleases Yahweh shall escape her. And who's those that was said to escape this great whore? The elect of the Most High, man. The nation of Israel, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? And he says, whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So the 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be bound down the knee unto the so-called white man, right? And the Lord just gonna have to kill you, right? Verse 4, he says, use not much the company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts, right? And that's what the word allurement means, or the word enchantment means, is to sing. Now scriptures is telling us don't use much company with the woman that sings, meaning a woman that enchants. And who's that woman that enchants? Babylon. This place is filled with enchantments and sorceries and magic. Let me grab this in the book of Nahum. Wind picking up. All right, let's lock it. Give me 1 second. Small book. Here we go. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3, and I'm gonna start right here, verse 4, and it says, I'm gonna start at verse 1. He says, "Woe to the bloody city!" And who's the bloody city, man? America. Woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. And everybody that's a prey unto Babylon, you're not going to depart, meaning you're not going to be able to escape. Why? Because you're a sinner, right? It says the noise of a whip. The noise of a whip. And that's all our people been hearing, man. As soon as we came over here, we just been hearing the noise of a whip going across your back, right? Over there in slavery, and we're still hearing the noise of this whip right, in the form of us in these jobs, man. Right? Your bosses whooping your back day in and day out, you know, making you do certain things when, you know, this place is nothing. It's a bloody city. It's full of lies, and it's constantly whipping people's asses, man. All right, it says, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and you also, you know, if you're spiritual, you know that that's talking about these cars, man. All right? And it says, and the prancing of horses and of the jumping chariots. I'm going to skip down to verse 4. And it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. And who's a well-favored harlot? That's having all these whoredoms, man. America. He says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. That's America. Sold families, broke up people's families, man. Right? This is witchcraft and sorcery and enchantments, man. Verse 5, he says, behold, I'm against thee, saith Yahawah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. Meaning he's going to pull up America's skirts, right? It means he's going to expose this place for what it actually is. And how is he doing that? By the mouth of his prophets. Like he said in 2 Thessalonians, let me get that, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians 2, and I'll start at verse 7. He says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth, right? So he who is Yahawah, who's letting, right, the mystery of iniquity work. He says, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Verse 8. And then shall that wicked, and who's that wicked? Esau, Edom, Malachi 1 and 4. Then shall that wicked be revealed, right? And that's how he's being revealed, man. Through the mouth of the prophets, the Lord discovering this place's skirts, right, over his heads. And it says, then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahawah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And once again, who's the Lord's mouth? Hebrews 1 and 1, the prophets. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And this word is known as a light. The way how you kill a damn vampire, and vampires, they vanish away when it's light, you know, when it's light outside, man. The way how you destroy this place is with the brightness of the scriptures, man. That's why Proverbs 6:23 says that the commandment is known unto a lamp, right? So this is how we're going to destroy this place, man, by constantly pushing truth out. That's why the Spirit of the Lord is still having grace, you know, and favor upon our people by still allowing them to hear this truth, so they can, you know, come to grips and hear this and see this light and come to it. And then they further expose this place. And then this place gets chanted down by the words of our mouth, man. Through the spirit of empowering YAHAWASHI. All right, so let's go back to Nahum 3 and 5. And it says, and behold, I'm against thee, saith Yahawah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. And I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And America is about to be shamed, you know, in front of all these nations. In the form of what? Those ICBM missiles being rained down over here. Then these nations are gonna see, well, damn, this place wasn't nothing after all, man. All right. So let's go back to Sirach 9. Sirach 9 and 4. It says, use not much company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts. Right. And America once again is singing unto people sun up to sundown. All right. It says, gaze not on a maid. All right, gaze not on a maid. Oh, and also verse 4, right, when it talks about that singing, what was Nebuchadnezzar doing in ancient Babylon? Right, he set up those musicians, right, for those enchantments, for those allurements, right, in the form of those songs, to make you bow down to his image. He says, verse 5, gaze not on a maid that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her, right? So don't look upon Babylon, because if you look upon this place, you're going to start to see some of these dainties that it has to offer. You know, clubs, you know, Christianity, you know, these high position offices. You're going to be like, damn, you know, that don't look too bad at all. All right. And then you're going to start to listen to what this whore got to say. And as soon as she invites you into her house and she closes the door, that's it, man. You're not coming back out. All right, and a lot of our people, they're not leaving Babylon. They're not leaving out of this house, the house of the wicked. They staying right here getting burnt up along with this whore. Right? Verse 6, he says, give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. And we are learning, if you're a wise man, you're going to learn from our forefather Solomon. Because the reason why, let me grab this, the reason why we're in this predicament now, to where the tribes are divided, is because of something that our forefather Solomon did. All right, but Yahawashi came and fixed that thing up, man. So now you have no excuse. This 1 Kings 11:8, he says, and likewise did he for all his strange wives. And this is speaking about Solomon. Solomon had many strange wives. All right, when you read Proverbs chapter 5, it tells you don't give your strength unto strangers. Well, that's what Solomon did. He gave his strength unto these strange women, man. All right, and we know strange women in scriptures is not, is going into philosophy. And that's something that the elect, the 144,000, they're going to be, they're virgins, man. Meaning that they didn't have any type of intercourse with these strange philosophies, right, that America pushes out. So 1 Kings 11:8, and likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods. Because that's what America does. It burns incense and sacrifices unto their powers, man. America still upholds and worships all the ancient gods, you know, from Egypt, from the Tower of Babel. You know, it takes all these other nations' gods and basically, because the so-called white man has no culture, man. They have no culture, so they just take gods from all these other different nationalities and they worship them, man. But they can't worship, the Edomites can't worship YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, man. See that? So what we got, the living waters that we have, we're not supposed to give it unto these other people, man. And that's where our forefather King Solomon had messed up at. Verse 9, he says, and Yahweh was angry with Solomon, because his heart or mind was turned from Yahweh, his power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Verse 10, and he had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. See that? You cleaving unto America, you're going after other gods, man. Because Esau Edom is a god, he's the god of this world. He says, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. But the only people that's going to be delivering these times is, let me grab this, Revelation 3:10. Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept, see that, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. But Solomon, he didn't keep the charge that Yahweh commanded him. All right, but now through Yahawashi, he's given us that example. Right, he's given us what to do. He's taught us to abstain from the ways of this whore. Right, he's given us this path that's as a shining light, so we can see, right, all the snares and the pitfalls and the traps that this whore has set up in place for us. Right, so we don't stumble. Verse 11, wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So because of what Solomon had did, he rent the kingdom from him, man. Right? And what was the kingdom to Solomon? His inheritance. Why? Because of whores. He allowed women to have control over his substance, over his inheritance. Right? Now the elect is going to learn from, and that's the importance of obtaining wisdom. Because according to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8:8, what is wisdom? What does wisdom do? It has experience of things of the past, meaning history. So if you're a wise man, if you're a wise woman, if you're a wise child, you're going to go into these historical accounts of history, and you're going to see where our forefathers went wrong at, and also where they were right at. Right? So you can learn from those things, right? And apply it to your life, so you can have victory over the image and the mark of the beast and his name, and his number, according to Revelation chapter 15, verse 2. See that? So we have no excuse, man. So that's why when Yahawashi comes back, it ain't no talking, man. It's all death. It's all death. Why? Because he's been talking, man. He's been talking about the mouth of his prophets. But it's talking about to be, hey, it's about to be done, man. So it'll behoove you to take heed unto these scriptures, to take heed unto the men of the Lord that he has given unto you, man. Right? We're out here for you, man. We're out here for the elect. Right? So take attention, man. Verse, I'm going to read that again in verse 6. He says, give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. You know, and I understand these scriptures apply, you know, to these actual women as well. you know. But with you being a spiritual man, you're going to look into these verses in a different light now, man. Right? That's what these proverbs were for. Proverbs simply means a wise saying or a dark saying, a dark parable, right? And now they have come to light in the form of these prophecies, man. Now we know who that whore is, not who that harlot is, man. Right? So now when you apply all these things to America, to this whore, now it makes much more sense. Ah, damn, I need to be abstaining from this whore, man. Don't allow this whore to have control over my inheritance, man. Right? Don't be like my forefather Solomon. Although Solomon was a righteous man, you know, a very wise man. Right? But don't allow this whore to have control over my life. Keep my waters unto my nation of people and them only. See that? Let me grab that in Proverbs 5. This book of Proverbs 5 and 15 says, drink waters, right? And what is waters? Truth, right? What relieves you, what satisfies your thirst for knowledge and wisdom and understanding. That's whatever ideology or philosophy that is, that's known as waters. And a lot of our people are drinking bitter waters, man. Right? What America gives you. Right? But it says drink waters out of your own cistern, meaning out of your own cup. And the Lord has given the nation of Israel a cup to drink out of. And that cup is YAHAWASHI, man. He's who we should be drinking out of. Right? When you go to John chapter 4, you know, he tells that Samaritan woman the same thing, man. All right? He says, the water I give unto you, you shall never thirst again. Right? So we're supposed to be drinking waters out of what has been prepared for our nation of people. Right? Because you can't be drinking damn lead water, you know, tap water, you know, from these other nations. The Lord gave us this clean, pure alkaline water. Because our bodies just, our souls, our spirits is set up in a particular different type of way. If you start, this is kind of like a car. Some cars can take premium gasoline. Some cars can take unleaded. Some cars can only take, you know, that mid-grade. You know, but if you're a Mercedes, you know, if you that elite car, you know, you can't just have that regular gasoline. That's for the peon, you know. That's for the Camrys. Those are some nice cars, but you know, you catch my drift. That's for the Crown Vics. You know, but we the elites, man. We got to drink these pure waters, man. So he says, drink waters out of your own cistern and running waters out of your own well. Let your fountains be dispersed abroad, right? And that's what this is. Our fountains, these waters that the Lord has given us, is being dispersed abroad, right? That's why this is known as a broadcast, right? When it goes up on YouTube, it's broadcasted. That's these waters being dispersed abroad unto our nation of people, right? That's who this message is addressed to. Let your fountains be dispersed abroad and rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only with thine own, right? So these waters is only for our own people, man. He says, and not strangers with thee. This isn't for Esau, Edom. We prophesying against him. He listens in, but this truth isn't for him. He's not going to get salvation off of this. And it's for our people, starting with the elect, man. All right? But that's where our forefather King Solomon had messed up at. He shared his substance, he shared his strength unto these strange gods, man. Right? Which in essence, they're gonna rob your soul, man. You're not strong enough for that. You're not strong enough to, you know, to be ravished with the strange love of these strange women, these strange gods with America, and then think that you're gonna make it out on top. No. America's known as a snare and a trap in a valley of the shadow of death for a reason, man. Cause niggas die here. You behind enemy lines, man. You're not home yet. So going back to Sirach 9 and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get one scripture out of Proverbs. I'm gonna close it up right here. We at the hour mark right now. So this Proverbs 6 and 25. And Lord willing, I'll just do another lesson tonight. You know, going a little more in depth. This Proverbs 6 and 25, and it says lust. I'm gonna start at verse 23. He says, for the commandment, all right, and the commandment is this book is in entirety, the law, the prophets, you know, YAHAWASHI, the gospels, and the apostles, right? And it says, for the commandment is a lamp and the law is light. Why? Because you're in the valley of the shadow of death. So we need light, man, so we can see where the hell we going, so we don't have our foot taken in one of these booby traps, man. All right, he says, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. And this is why our people constantly need to be reproved, so they can have that way of life given unto them. Because if you don't reprove people, they don't see where they're going off at. How they gonna know? How they gonna turn back? How they gonna repent? All right, verse 24, to keep thee, and all these things is for what? To keep thee from the evil woman. Who's that evil woman? Obviously, this isn't talking about a physical woman. It's talking about America, man. Solomon, right here in the book of Proverbs, which is YAHAWASHI if you can receive it, because that's who Solomon was. YAHAWASHI if you can receive it, was prophesying right here in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs has prophecies in it, man. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. And how does how does this woman flatter you with the tongue? What's America's tongue? The laws, man. The laws that it introduces. These mandates. So you keeping these commandments keep you away from the flattery of from these laws, man. These strange laws that this place has set up. These urgent laws. It says, verse 25, lust not after her beauty in your heart. That's what YAHAWASHI told us in Matthew 5 and 28. Right? Lust not after her beauty in your heart, meaning in your mind, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Because you know whores, you know, and even a lot of our people, man, Eves, they crazy with these damn fake ass eyelashes, man. But that shit is just an enchantment, man, to lure you in. And America, her eyelashes is in the form of, you know, these pretty delicacies, these you know, just this beautiful array. These cities that has this decked out with all these lights and, you know, fancy restaurants and shit. if you simple minded, if you're weak minded, that shit gonna allure you, man. That's Babylon singing unto you, man. Got them fancy ass eyelashes on. It says, lust not after her beauty in your heart, neither let her eyelids neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. See that? And by means of this whorish woman, right, you're going to be brought to a piece of bread, man. You're going to be crying to this woman to give you, you're going to be crying to America to give you a piece of bread, man. And it comes with a price. You're going to have to take the MOTB, man. Right? And it says, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. And America's hunting for the precious life of the saints, man. Right? But we're going to escape. We're going to escape.